So, I have a very interesting topic for today's conversation. It's about IPMAT. Is IPMAT worth it? So, let's start by first looking at what is IPMAT. I don't know if you have heard of this. It's a very recent program in terms of the number of years taken in academic institution. It's a 5 year program, integrated program in management. IPM standing for integrated program in management, AT standing for admission test. So this started on behalf of IIM Indore. So IIM Indore, if you know, is the top fourth ranking institute, IIM Management Institute in this country. It's started by them, and basically it's a 5 year program consisting of first 3 years in as Bachelor in Arts in Foundation of Management, and the next 2 years is the MBA, the usual MBA from IIM Indore. So that's how the 5 years are spent there. Now, in first 3 years, they teach you about very interesting topics, and I had a look at their curriculum, and that sounds very interesting, and it kind of fulfills the need in management education for a long time versus the courses like BBA and of course BCom and BSc Science, etc., which have very little relevance for an MBA. So it basically, in the first 3 years, they teach you about required maths, statistics, economics, psychology. Very interesting, because I believe psychology is very important if you want to become a good manager and a leader, especially. Sociology, philosophy, political science, and law, and public policy. So that's how the first 3 years are practically spent in learning about that. They teach you a lot about computers, they teach you about the basic communication skills, they teach you about extracurricular things, dance and drama. So it's a very rounded program that I see in the first 3 years versus doing a BSc, BCom, or even a BBA. So first 3 years sounds very promising, and then the last 2 years you get into, once you get in admission into IPM, integrated program in management at IIM Indore and couple of other universities. The last 2 years are you get enrolled automatically after passing successfully the first 3 years into the flagship MBA program, where you learn about IT, operations, marketing, sales, finance, HR, and strategy. So it seems a good route, a better route to get do an MBA from one of the prestigious institutes in management from in India, instead of doing any other thing like BBA, BSc, etc., and then competing in CAT, and then figuring out whether you will get into MBA at all. Now, to you start early, you can get admitted. You can start appearing in the IPMAT once you complete your 12th. You can start preparing early. You can start preparing after you finish your 10th, and the school allows you a lot more leeway to prepare for IPMAT. So, and you will be able to apply once you complete your 12th and higher secondary education in this. Now, let's now, having looked at the IPM itself, let's now look at the IPMAT examination. The IPMAT is I would say, a less stringent test than CAT and less comparative, and people haven't caught on to that. So your chances of cracking IPMAT now and making into MBA is lot more than getting into BSc, BA, BBA, then trying to catch your CAT examination. The IPMAT examination basically consists of three sections. One is a quantitative ability, short question, MCQ questions, and short answer question. The first section is on short answers on quantitative ability. There are 10 questions, and there are 20 questions in the MCQ section, and this gets followed by the verbal ability, which has 30 questions of MCQ type. Now, in this MCQ carries the negative marking like CAT, and you get 4 marks each on doing it right, and if you do it wrong, you get 1 as a negative mark. You get total 2 hours, very much on the lines of CAT, to appear in IPMAT. There are sequentially, like you have done this. So this gives you a good chance to. It's parallel to the CAT. So 40 minutes each in quantitative ability, short answers, 40 minutes each for MCQ, and 40 minutes for verbal ability, MCQ questions. And then they calculate very similar to CAT, what is called a ATS, admission test score, which has a weightage of 50% for the quantitative ability and 50% for the verbal ability. The 50% quantitative ability split half between the short answers and MCQ type. And in the admission process for integrated program management at IIM Indore, the ATS has 65% weightages, and follow up once you do the ATS, and there is a personal interview that carries 35%, and combinedly they achieve the 100%. So it's a good program. Now it is expensive. The total cost of doing the first 3 years, the cost of doing the last 2 years of the 5-year program is same as if you were to do after CAT at IIM Indore. But the first 3 years you spend roughly about 6 lakhs a year annually. So 18 lakhs for 3 years is the cost for doing this examination. So the question is, is it worth spending that 18 lakhs rupees in the first 3 years to get into an MBA at IIM Indore? And I'm going to read out what it all depends on how do you see what you are taught in the first 3 years. And I see a very interesting syllabus here, right? Like I see in term one, some of the subjects they will teach you is microeconomics, which is very good starting. Statistical methods, language, English language. They will teach you how to speak well in English. If you're not, you get an early start to algorithms in term one. Term two, you continue learning about economics, macroeconomics. Also, you learn about probability. You continue learning in English. You start learning computer languages like Introduction to C, microeconomics, sampling distribution, and statistical inference is another interesting subject. You learn about presentation skills, data structures, databases. Then you numerical analysis, statistical methods, psychology, sociology, critical thinking, writing skills, languages like French and Spanish, linear programming in term 5, economics and statistics, research methodology, developmental economics, sociology, object-oriented program. So optimization, multivariate analysis in term 6. Term 7, you start getting into corporate etiquettes and image management, game theory, stochastic processes, IPR. In the term 8, you will start doing a course like web development, business policy, Indian economy, and there are a lot of electives I see here. In the term 9, again, you have lots of electives which can help you be ready to get into MBA in the next 2 years. So sounds good, sounds a very interesting program that I see here, and I'm sure if you apply and you prepare well for IPMAT, I'm sure you would find this a very good and early and probably easy way, though more expensive way to do an MBA at one of the premier institutes in India at IIM Indore. And as a backup, since IIM Indore may have limited seats in the MBA, there are other colleges that you will be able to see on IIM Indore website that you can try and get into do MBA if this doesn't work out at IIM Indore for you. So all the best.